bird to stop, right? You know, if I'm at full draw for a minute or whatever, and I know I need to get that bird in position to stop, you know, I can make a sound. But this is, again, one made by Jones Calls here. It's just a double reed call. Short reed goes up. If you know, when you take these things out, if you want to, you know, get the latex, you don't want it too tight. That's one thing a lot of diaphragm calls, when they're manufactured right out of the box, they're a little too tight. So I'll just take them and kind of pinch in a little bit. Then, you know, everyone's tooth structure is different. But the deal with this tape here is you want to make sure that that gets up against the roof of your mouth and seals off any air going around that. You want the air to come between your tongue, which is going to be under the reed here, and the reed itself. So all you want to do is just try to put it in your mouth without gagging and try to get a sound out of it. Jody likes it. Oh. If you can just get a sound with it, then that's all you need. From there, then it just comes down to tongue position and practicing manipulating with your tongue and your diaphragm to get, you know, your yelps. So. So you can get your purrs and you can get your yelps, and that's all I'm going to use with this. I mean, some guys can gobble with them. Again,
let's hear it.
There's guys that are, some guys can, I can't. Do all kinds of sounds with them. You don't need to get that fancy with them. Yelps and purrs are 99% of what we use to call in bird. It's just these birds are pretty vocal here. So between all the between the box call, between all the different strikers that you have, which are really, you know, all these are, you know, almost different calls within themselves, with the slate call and the diaphragm call. That's pretty much, that's all I ever take out of the wood.
If you just wanted to buy one, I would highly recommend the Cherry in my experience. It's been the best. I don't know anybody that has them out there. Yeah. Another thing that's helpful when you're out there, of course, a set of binoculars makes it very important. So I've spent an hour sneaking them up on a cow before, thinking it was a turkey just over top of the knob. So it's better if you glass first. Yeah. A turkey vest is very nice.
Or if you're after a big bird too, you know, if you want to try to get a big tom instead of a jake or a 2-year-old bird, binoculars are nice. We'll even use spotting scopes sometimes.
Because you carry a lot of stuff. Another thing is this little thermosil thing here. I don't know if you're, sometimes you have to sit for 2 hours. I mean, if you're sitting there, and that's like a week and a half for me. I mean, that's a tough go. And them little bugs. This thing, Scott, in fact, it was Tim Harrell, come down and had this. It's just a little, what is it?
It burns a little patch. It's a butane cartridge, and it burns a little, like, chrysanthemum odor patch, and it's phenomenal. I use these everywhere I go. In Alaska, spend a lot of times in Alaska. In Alaska, you know, the state bird is the mosquito. And the first time I brought this out, you know, these big Alaskan guides laughed at me. Oh, look at that little girl device. And we had it in a boat, 24-foot sled boat, and it shut down the mosquito. I've used them extensively throughout the worst mosquito country in Alaska, and I lived for years in Alaska and know about mosquitoes, and that's a phenomenal thing. I don't know if Dave, or do you guys have any of these things left in stock?
We're out.
You're out, yeah, figures.
But they're like 35 bucks or something, and not that expensive, and they are. Yeah, I mentioned a little earlier about not liking the pack stuff, and this stays on here.
Yeah.
One nice thing is that with the turkey vest is you have a little seat to sit on. This is a kind of neat one. This is a crooked horn one. You just flip this, pull these tab downs, and there's your little seat. Because I mentioned that sometimes it's wet in Oregon. This is nice to sit on in the morning. And then the nice thing, the other ones are made for people that are athletic and skinny, because you just flip them up and you snap them on the back. Well, I can't touch my back anymore, so with this one you just pull it up and there you go. It works really slick. It's got lots of pockets for face masks. I keep about 10 of them because I'll lose one every time I set down, so you always have a spare. You can fit all your strikers and all your calls in here, and it's kind of nice. It's got a place for the turkey when you harvest it, and an orange flag for keep people from shooting at you when you're packing it out.
Speaking of shooting, we need to get on the bears real quick. Do you ever have guys miss turkeys?
Not the worst is 7 in one day.
With a shotgun?
Yeah, with a shotgun. And the farthest shot was 16 yards.
One client?
Yeah.
I got a couple quick questions. You're talking about how the toms call the hens to them, yet you're using hen calls and you still suck them in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of weird, huh?
We're tricking them.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, you're defying nature, which is what makes it hard.
Well, they get a hen doesn't have, a hen can breed once and lay 3 clutches of eggs, and they'll all be fertile. So you can lay a whole clutch of eggs, a possum will come eat it, and they'll lay another clutch, coons will come eat it, and they can still lay another clutch on one breeding. They will breed 10 times in a year too. So those toms go all year for maybe only 2 or 3 days of action. So they're pretty.
So they do travel looking for the hens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I can. Second question is, can you explain the uncanny ability that they have to stay on private property?
I wish I could. I guide turkey hunts all over, and I pay landowners a trespass fee. Never killed a bird on public property.
Wow.
And I would if I could, because I just did not pay somebody to kill a turkey.
Right.
Mostly it's because they like pasture land. Anything now that's government or any place else, they've got trees planted in it, and they love young trees, but when they get up this tall, boy, there could be bobcats and everything else in there. It's just too hard for them to feel safe.
Yeah, there's a lot of birds on public land in eastern Oregon, northeast Oregon.
Yeah, Mount Hood.
Yeah, a lot over there. But they gravitate to the open area. And it has fish and game just frazzled, because Oregon's probably the #1 state in the west of Mississippi for their success at trapping and transplanting birds. And they have birds all over we have them in every county of Oregon now. And all of the birds that they release, almost all of them are on public land. They gravitate right down to private land. And it has them flustered too, because they want private land.
I see them in burns on public land a lot, out there in that high desert.
Yeah.
You know, but god dang, I get down here and I can't find a bird.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, one thing that we've learned over the years, hunting here in the West, one of the best chances to securing a private land hunting piece for you during the spring is to go in the fall or the winter. We have that fall season that runs October 15th through December. And by December, the flocks are in, 200 birds in a flock. And a lot of landowners don't like that. Well, come kill the birds in the fall, because that's when they're all over here. Well, it's the same birds that are here in the spring. It's just that they're pretty and gobbling in the spring. Well, we don't want you killing them then. Well, it's the same birds. So going in the fall, kill a bird then, and a lot of times that'll open up opportunities. Another thing too that we've seen is a lot of people are they're getting so overrun with birds, they're wanting them taken off now.
Do you have any of their phone numbers?
you know who you can call?
Don't!
Yeah, no, call Fish and Game down in Roseburg. I know they maintain a list a lot of times.
There's a lot of 5-acre places of property that I try to guide on only 15 acres because it's just there's a lot of 5-acre parcels. Winston, they're just overrun with birds, and they're roosting on the cars, and for some reason they don't like that on the porch. But getting back to the shotgun things, I had tons of misses. I had 36 misses last year with shotguns, and it wasn't a range issue. I don't let the client shoot over 40 yards unless some of my clients at 55 yards, they've got scopes, turkey chokes, they pattern their gun, they know, they're very capable at that distance. They get excited, which is great. Excitement's a good thing if you can control it. I mean, if you're one client missed at 6 yards at a tom that was not moving 6 yards, I mean, it'd be harder to miss it than it would be to hit it, I would think, but completely missed it. When I'm standing back a lot of times, if I have a father and son, I'll have them up in front of me and I'll actually call behind them because that seems to work. Sometimes you draw them that extra 10, 15 yards in there. And I leave it up to the father to tell the kid when to shoot and all that. So it's fun for them. They get to hunt together and I get to watch it all. But the ones that have missed that I've noticed, they bring the shotgun up and they're looking at the bird, but they never cheek down on the shotgun. And some of the newer shotguns, have pistol grips. And that's nice, because if you've ever shot a gun with pistol grip, it kind of forces you, when you get it up where your wrist is, it kind of forces you to go down with your head. They make little snap-on magnetic sights for shotguns. I would highly recommend them. Just something, I mean, most times the shotgun, you boom, you don't think about aiming it. And I get a ton of misses. 3s, 4s, and 5s is what shot I like. I like an extra full turkey choke, at the minimum a full choke, and shoot it before season. After the one guy that missed 6 times, he said, "Oh, I sighted it." I'm like, man, because we shot this ranch. Okay, I'll drive 40 miles, go hunt the other ranch. We spooked those for a couple of days. We go hunt another one. I said, "Hey, we need to shoot your gun." And he was kind of upset at me, but I said, just shoot it. So I put a great big cardboard up with the turkey cut out, and he shot. And we went over there, and the very bottom right-hand corner, there was like 3 pellets. It wasn't his fault. Well, it was his fault not for patterning his gun, but I mean. I'm sure he was aiming, it just wouldn't shoot and we changed loads of shells, and perfect. So one load will make, even if it's number 5, Federal to Winchester or Remington, we shot like 80 shells one day doing a patterning thing, and my Remington won't shoot Remington.